remember this car? Mid-70s Ford Grand Torino, like the name of the film with Clint Eastwood that came much, much later. Ford Grand Torino. Made famous by the television series that you were just hearing a snippet of the theme tune from, Starsky and Hutch. Starsky and Hutch was made at a time when the buddy movie was quite popular, and what a buddy movie is more about the two central characters, their relationship, than any given situation that they might be in. So it's not like, Swiss Family Robinson, which is about surviving on a desert island and then escaping from that desert island. It's about the friendship, the camaraderie, the brotherliness of the two central characters. And these films and series were very popular in the 70s, like The Dukes of Hazzard, for instance. And you could even say that Knight Rider was something of a buddy movie with him and the car. Kit, Night Industries 2000. But Starsky and Hutch took this to a almost unprecedented level, with the two central characters becoming very great friends, even though they were chalk and cheese in terms of their character. And I think that was what made the series popular. But one of the key elements was this car. According to Paul Michael Glaser, who drove it most of the time, it handled very sloppily. He wasn't impressed with the way it handled at all. But goodness me, did it look good on screen. I mean, if you watch it now, the back end's flying about all over the place and what have you. But even in the very first, the pilot episode, I won't give too much away, but there's something to do with the car. The car makes its debut actually before the two central characters. And it's a case of mistaken identity relating to the car. There were 4 series of Starsky and Hutch. A lot of people felt it got a bit too schmaltzy, as they say, too sentimental in the end. But it was incredibly popular at the time. Now this is a green light. That's the second one that's a green light, and it's actually what they call weathered, to make it look like it's been out and about on the streets of California, Los Angeles, which is where Starsky and Hutch were based. And these are illustrations that are from video box art that show you the two central characters. And again, the car is always there. Look. Now this company here that makes these is called, this is a 1/43rd scale by Greenlight, an American company. I think they're very good. I've got slightly obsessed with this car, to be honest. I've got a bigger one that's by another company, 1/18th scale, and it is an impressive sight. When you look at the car without the stripe, it looks a lot more ordinary, but nevertheless, it still has the impact. With regards to the paint job. I don't know who came up with that paint job. There will be research. It will be out there on the internet somewhere, and maybe I ought to look that up. If you know the answer, by all means, let me know in the comments section. But whoever came up with that paint job deserves a bit of a medal, really, and an accolade. The two central characters were played by Paul Michael Glaser and David Soul. Now, for those of you who know my little channel, I sometimes look for a Star Trek connection. Well, David Soul was in an episode of Star Trek, the original series. And these two occupied these roles for the entire duration of the series and were immensely popular. David Soul had a record career as well, singing. When I was at school, his records, he was sort of up there with people like David Cassidy and so on, sort of singing romantic ballads. Don't Give Up on Us Baby is one of them I can remember. Anyway, it was a very, very popular action-adventure series. And I enjoyed it. I mean, we all did. It was entertaining. There was another character played by Antonio Fargas, who was Huggy Bear, who was their informant. I mean, how Huggy Bear managed to not disappear throughout the series, I don't know. He was hanging about with these two so much. Maybe he didn't tell them everything he knew. But anyway, the main thing is he did survive. And the captain, Captain Dobie, was their boss, who was always shouting at them, get out there and get the job done and whatever. So it wasn't just about these two. And usually there'd be a guest star of the week and somebody in jeopardy and so on and so on. And they solved the problem and brought the perp to justice. So it was a good series, quite long running. I mean, a lot of series, it's deemed as a success if you get 3 series, and they got 4, 93 episodes. So very good. I think Paul Michael Glaser, I know for a fact he directed several episodes, and I have a feeling David Soul did, but I haven't checked that. So Paul Michael Glaser went on to become known more as a director later on. And of course there was a film with Owen Wilson, and that was more a comedy, I have to say, and it wasn't 100% to my taste, but these two guys, David Soul and Paul Michael Glaser, made an appearance in that film, which is you can look it up on YouTube. It's quite nice the way it's done, yeah, I think it's dated if you watch it now, but it's still worthwhile. It's still a good watch. Definitely, I would consider it a television treasure because it was so influential. Definitely the car stands out. There are that many models you can get of the car, different companies. I mean, there's an old Corgi, made to a bigger scale than usual. Now, it actually came with 2 little plastic, 3 actually. There was a Robber and Starsky and Hutch figures that came with it. And this is from my childhood. This one is the one I had when I was a kid. So you can see it's a bit lived in, a bit played with. I'm trying to keep the others near as mint as possible, but as you can see, the packaging's got a bit shelf damaged and what have you, which was unfortunate. But the car, I mean, look at it. Look how evocative it is of the show. It's bang on. What did he call it? The something tomato. Paul Michael Glaser, who drove it, he really he really didn't like the car, and that amuses me for some reason, because everybody else really did and thought it had a terrific presence on screen. I've even got a spare Hutch Mego head. Now, Mego figures, by the way, these 2 guys are from the mid-70s. These aren't the originals that I had as a kid. I bought these a few years ago. I mean, these are starting to climb up in value now. I've had these a while, but in recent times, they're starting to climb. These are 80-inch articulated figures. They've got joints, and you can move them like small action men for the British viewers. And I like them because they are reasonable. They have a reasonable likeness to the 2 central actors, I think. So yes, Starsky and Hutch, a television treasure to be sure. Very entertaining show. Theme music was, I never liked the theme music, like some of the old shows that John Williams wrote theme music for were in my opinion better, but well-made shows, entertaining shows, well worth a revisit if you haven't watched any for a while. There are some on YouTube, whether they should be or not, they are there. So if you fancy giving it a try even, I would do. I think you'll enjoy it if you like action-adventure, buddy movie type stuff. So there we go, Starsky and Hutch, a television treasure.